What's up guys, Readiness Rations here with you again. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting international ration pack. If you're not aware of the company MREmpire, they are an online military ration store based out of the UK. They offer all kinds of international military rations, and over the past couple years a lot of the meal kits that I've reviewed here on the channel have come from them. They have now begun putting together their very own emergency field ration kits, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this one has to offer. Before we get into it though, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like seeing this ration review content here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future uploads, and don't forget to let me know down in the comments what ration you would like to see me review next. Now, MREmpire put out both 24-hour ration packs and 12-hour ration packs. This menu number 2 is a 12-hour MRE, so that's basically one complete meal for one person plus some extras. The packaging is very simple, nothing on the back, an MREmpire sticker, a British flag sticker since they are based out of the UK, and the menu number. This is a gusseted bottom Mylar pouch everything is packed in, and that has a Ziploc seal. So let's get into this. Right away, I'm noticing that all of these components seem to be of British origin, so these kits are being put together with items from British ORPs and patrol rations. First item is a 90-gram squeeze tube of mixed fruit snack, a Choca Block bar, candy bar with chocolate flavoring, UN consumption only, protein drink powder, apple flavor. I truly hope to never come across one of these ever again. Our 300-gram main entree is Hunter's Chicken. That was packaged in 2023 with a best before date of January 2026, so still lots of life left in this ration. That does contain an extremely substantial ration heater for a nice warm meal, and we have 2 accessory kits here. This first one, which is in a large Ziploc bag, appears to be a brew bag, but it does have some other items as well. Double pack wet wipe, a scouring pad. That's really interesting. The only time I've seen these is in Australian rations. 4-pack water purification tablet, a 10-pack of tissue paper. We have a pretty insane 7 gram packages of white sugar, 2 instant coffees, 2 tea bags, 3 hot drink whiteners, a package of chewing gum, an 8th 7-gram sugar pack that I overlooked just a moment ago, and an extremely impressive assortment of flavor enhancers, 9-gram tomato sauce, I assume that's basically ketchup, 2 14-gram packages of hot sauce, 5 grams of mild curry powder, another 5 grams of chili powder, and both a salt and black pepper. Let's see what's in this final accessory kit here. These are non-food items, and this does come straight from a UN Patrol combat ration, made in the UK, of course. We have another 4-pack of water purification tablets, another large Ziploc bag, 10-count tissue paper in addition to the previous 10-count tissue paper, 2 more wet wipes, and a package of flatware, knife, spoon, and fork. This ration pack might not have that much food content, but it's completely overflowing with accessories. This one 12-hour ration pack has more accessories than most 24-hour rations do. I am ready to dig in, so I guess we will get our main entree heating first here. Tear off the top of our ration heater, drop our main entree pouch down into there, and we had so many Ziploc bags, I actually think I'm going to try to prepare a hot drink with that same ration heater. So this is one of our packages of freeze-dried coffee. We can see those large freeze-dried crystals there. Dump that into our Ziploc. 7 grams is a lot of sugar for a single coffee, but suppose we should just use the whole thing there. And let's also open up one of these hot drink whiteners. This is essentially a non-dairy creamer, I believe. And that is what it looks like. Super white powder. Add that as well. It's going to be a little bit difficult to measure the appropriate amount of water. That looks about like a cup of coffee, I suppose. Zip this up, give it a couple folds over. This material is definitely more thin than a US hot beverage bag. I don't know if you're actually supposed to prepare drinks in this particular pouch, but I figured it won't hurt to try it. Shook that to combine, and now I'll actually squeeze out a little bit of this air and squeeze that in right along our entree. I ran out of room on the tray for all these sauces and seasonings. Let's get this stuff heating up. We have a fill line on the outside of the bag. And then we actually fold this top over, and it has this little adhesive sticker that we're supposed to close things off with, and that should activate here momentarily. Oh yeah, that poofed right up and it's already steaming. Since our coffee is in the heater, I guess we'll go ahead and get our tea going separately here. Pretty standard looking tea bag. That has a pretty mild smell, but seems to be like a black tea. Splash of hot water to that. and that'll need some time to steep. Oh boy, now it's time to tackle the protein drink powder apple flavor. I have encountered this one in the past. A few years ago, I did a review of a United Nations Patrol Ration Pack that included one of these. And I have to be honest, this is one of the worst tasting ration items I have ever run across. And the last thing that I've wanted to do is have to taste this stuff again, but here we are. The powder looks benign enough, but the smell is sort of disgustingly green apple-like. There is a lot of that powder. The directions on that call for 400 milliliters of water. Oh, this stuff is milky looking. The smell is very pungent. If you like artificial green apple, you might not hate this, but that just happens to be one of my least favorite flavors ever. And so this milky, white protein apple drink is very far from enticing in my opinion. That really does resemble like a skim milk. I haven't worked up the gumption to taste that just yet. I do think our tea here has had long enough to steep. That does resemble a simple black tea, maybe along the lines of an English breakfast. Cheers. Mild but tasty black tea, distinctly bitter, simple but good. Typically I do like my tea sweetened just a little bit, so we'll hit that with a dash of sugar. When drinking English tea, should I leave the tea bag in it like this or should I remove it? Let me know down in the comments. The sweetness eliminates that bitterness. It does still have a little bit of astringency, but not in a negative way. Warm and comforting, really a nice way to get this ration started. Give my ration heater a quick flip here, just to make things more even. And now we'll take a look at this mixed fruit snack. These pouches are color-coded, so an orange cap is apple peach, yellow cap, apple mango banana. This is basically a retort pouch with a feeding tube. Looks to have a very liquid-like consistency. Go ahead and pour some on the spoon here. Very smooth, little watery, but that basically looks like baby food. Down the hatch. That tastes more peachy than it does apple, and I'm not complaining about that. It is sweet, it has a good tartness to it. Of course, with this design, we can just eat straight from the tube here. With that mix being so thin and watery, it sucks through that tube extremely easily. This is a really fantastic way to get some nutrition on the go. That is consumed effortlessly, and it is very tasty to boot. As long as you're okay with basically eating baby food. Our heater is still doing its job. So unfortunately, I think we've come to the moment I've been dreading the most. The apple protein beverage. It just popped in my head, but what this reminds me of look-wise is the really gross, milky blood stuff that comes out of the androids in the Alien series. Bottoms up. Ugh. It's sickly sweet, really thin, which I guess could be a good thing or bad thing depending on your perspective. Perhaps it would be worse if it was chunky. Ugh. The flavor is just terrible. It's an awful combination of artificial apple, extreme sweetness, and a really weird, unpleasant milkiness. It even leaves a weird feel in the mouth, a little bit gritty, a little bit astringent. I don't want any more of this, and if I never had to try this again, that would be a good thing in my books. I appreciate that they try to provide an item with easily digestible and consumable protein, but when the Brits were coming up with this one, they did their troops a disservice in my opinion. This heater is hot. Outside's up to 167. It is still steaming and quite uncomfortable to handle. Let's get our coffee out of there first. The coffee made it up to a smoking 174. The heat even rippled this bag a little bit. Can't believe I didn't make a mess there. And since it's pre-mixed, I guess we can go straight in for a taste here. Cheers. Man, that is hot, but surprisingly tasty. Even with all that sugar, it's not overly sweet. That whitener has made it very creamy, and the taste of the coffee itself is mild, but good. I'm not picking up any perceivable bitterness. It doesn't taste at all burnt. It is extremely impressive that we can get a steaming hot cup of coffee out of that ration heater. I've never had that with a US MRE. That's delicious. A pleasure to drink. Really good cup of coffee. And surprising that that's coming from a field ration. And now it's time for this entree. There is our Hunter's chicken. It looks to be a stew. And that smells really good. Reminds me a little bit of bell peppers. Dump this out. Thick, a little greasy, nice size portion at 300 grams. So that has some chunks of potato, some green English peas. The pieces of chicken in our Hunter's chicken look to be pretty small, but there is a decent amount distributed throughout this mix. We have some little pale colored beans here, and this is a pretty saucy main entree. I would definitely say this is a stew consistency. I also ran across a little piece of white onion here. Get a spoon here with a little bit of everything. Let's try that out. It has a slight barbecue flavor. It's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit smoky. The chicken is quite small, but you can notice it while chewing. I perceive that particular bite as being especially sweet, and I'm not a big fan of sweet entrees normally, but the overall flavor profile of this is not too bad. There is an up-close piece of one of our chicken chunks, and that looks to be a dark meat chicken, and I'm seeing some muscle fibers there, so non-processed or minimally processed, I suppose. That little chicken piece was dry and chewy, so to really enjoy it, you want it with the sauce. Both the potato and the peas are super soft and just melt away. As is, I would eat and enjoy this entire main entree. But we have a plethora of ways to spice it up, so let's see if we can make it a little bit special. I don't think it needs salt, but I will literally put black pepper on anything, and this is a large pack of black pepper. I intend on using the whole thing here. That is some pretty fragrant black pepper. I can actually smell it. This is our chili powder, and it is a very large pouch of it. I want to try this by itself to know exactly what I'm working with, and that might be a ton of it, especially if this is really spicy chili powder. But let's try that on the spoon first. It's not meant to be eaten like that, but this is good chili powder. It is a little bit sweet. It does have some heat though, but nothing super intense like cayenne. I like that a lot. So our entree is going to get a good dusting here in one of the quadrants. We also have this curry powder. Again, we'll try that on our spoon first. You can see that yellow color coming from the turmeric. Wow, that is tasty. This has salt in it, which makes those other flavors really pack a punch. It has a little bit of heat, and it has a distinct flavor of cumin along with turmeric, and so it will get its own quadrant as well. We had 2 packages of this hot sauce. That is very runny, thin, pepper sauce. Nice vinegar sharpness, but not very much heat or chili flavor at all. This is mostly just bringing vinegar to the party, which is not a bad thing. We'll give it its own little corner as well. And to complete our little flavor enhancers here, we have a little package of tomato sauce, and that is not a standard ketchup like I thought it might have been. If it is, it's a really weird ketchup, sort of clumpy. Try that one out. Really sugary sweet, but significantly vinegary as well. I would say this is ketchup, but it does not taste like American style ketchup. We will finish off our 4th quadrant with that tomato sauce. And now in the order we try the spices, we'll try the main with the spice. So a scoop of our entree with the chili powder. Yeah, man, that is substantially better than it was by itself. That chili powder brings some really nice flavor. Spiciness goes really well with chicken, and it helps cut a bit of that sweetness that was bothering me from before. For our curry powder side here, that curry powder is a lot more pungent than the chili powder is. It completely changes the flavor of this and makes it taste like a chicken curry. So if that's what you wanted, you can certainly do it by adding that entire package. The little extra salt makes all the flavors a little bit sharper. Really a nice inclusion. This hot sauce was quite underwhelming by itself, but there is a lot in this bite. Yeah, you can't really taste that at all. The flavor of the main is actually more substantial than the flavor of the hot sauce. Both the chili powder and the curry powder are actually more spicy than the hot sauce is. The only thing you're getting is a little extra vinegar, which is not bad, but doesn't make that big of a difference. And lastly here, we will get our tomato sauce. This is most of that pack all in one spoon. Down the hatch. No discernible difference from the normal taste of the main. The entree was already sweet, and that's the main thing that tomato sauce is bringing to the table anyway. So as far as that one goes, in my opinion, you can take it or leave it. I do think we will now mix everything together. That is how I roll. I'm gonna add some more of the hot sauce, some more of both of the powders. And at this point, this will be a completely different dish than it was before. This is no longer Hunter's chicken. This is now Hunter's curry chicken. Let's see how it is. Flavor bomb. That is outstanding. There were so many items in this where you can customize the flavor the way that you want it. And that's something you normally don't encounter with rations. This is a completely different dish than what I started with, and it's ridiculously tasty. It's not often that I finish an entree on camera, but here we are with the very last bite. Cheers. That was a pleasure to eat. I got some sauce on my hands, so let's try out one of our 4 wet wipes. Still nice and wet. Pretty thin and flimsy. It just sort of tears apart, but there's so many of them, who cares? And now we'll get into our dessert, the Choco Block Bar candy bar with chocolate flavoring. There is so little chocolate in these, I don't think they can legally call them chocolate. It is a nice size bar, and it certainly looks like chocolate. Let's try our chocolate flavored product here. No snap at all, soft and oily. It coats the entirety of your mouth with a waxy film. It melts very easily, but that has a whiff of chocolate flavor. Extreme sweetness. I've had a lot of chocolate in my life, and a lot of that chocolate that I have had has been really cheap, low quality chocolate. This stuff takes the cake. That has got to be the lowest quality, cheapest chocolate type thing you'll ever encounter. Even with that being said though, it's a nice, sweet little treat, and although not delicious, completely fine, and I intend on eating the whole damn thing. Close this meal out with a piece of chewing gum. Nice little Ziploc pouch these come in. 6 individual briquettes. Hard shell, candy coated outside. Very soft bite. Soft gummy center. And those have a very light yet sweet peppermint flavor. Not bad and quite refreshing. So that was our 12-hour emergency meal kit from MREmpire. I believe every single component that we encountered came from a British ORP or a United Nations Patrol Ration. Seeing as how MREempire is based out of the UK, I'm not surprised they used components from the UK, but I think they put together a pretty darn impressive ration. Maybe it could have used a little bit more food, but I'm truly surprised by how many sauces and spices this pack contained, which made for a really tasty meal. And the fact that this was only $12 makes it even that much more appealing. I want to know what you guys thought about the ration though, so don't forget to leave your opinion of the meal kit and the review down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up to help it out with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future ration review content, both commercial and military, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See you then. Peace.